But I would say to any minority business who's just getting started, be patient. You know, um, we talked about how to get your business established. That is the most important thing that a minority business can do is get certified. Stop using the excuse, well, I'm minority. They can see I'm minority. Yes, I understand you're African American and you're black. We all know that. But when it comes to competing for contracts, you want to be on the same level playing field as the rest of the competitors. That's these corporations. I don't care how big they are. They are going through the exact same process that minority businesses go through to set their companies up. Only thing is, sometimes they're a little bit smarter. We start our company here in Indiana because we have to, because we want certification. A lot of them, for some reason, set them up in other states. I've learned since then, tax purposes. See, we're not privy to that. We got to get there. My name is Ronalda Minnis. I'm president and CEO of Minnis Consulting. And thank you for watching What's Your Hustle podcast.
What's your hustle? What do you do? Here to bring money and attention to you. A lot of people want to know, you got to give them the truth. Here to run the numbers up, we about to go through the roof. What's your hustle? What's your hustle? Here to talk about your grind, how you spend your time. We done brought you to the show, you got to speak what's on your mind. What's your hustle? What's your hustle? What's your hustle? What's your hustle? Yeah.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of What's Your Hustle podcast. And today, we got a special guest. And I know I said it every time, but we do. We got a special guest. We have my friend, Ronalda Minnis from Minnis Consulting. And I met her back when University of Notre Dame put on an entrepreneurs boot camp. And she came to talk about how to certify your business to be a certified minority business owner. And we ended up connecting after the meeting, and we started to build an awesome relationship. And from there, it just flourished. And she personally committed to helping me become a certified minority business owner. And so I just wanted to have her on the show so we could talk about how to become certified in other areas and hear her story and hear about her entrepreneur's journey. But with all that being said, y'all know how we gonna do it. We just gonna hop off. And by the way, I'm your host, Cory Pringle, because I be forgetting to let y'all know that. So welcome back to the What's Your Hustle podcast, and I'm your host, Cory Pringle. Hey, I would say the king of podcasts, but that's my mentor thing. But nonetheless, though, we here, so let's get into it. Ronalda, how you doing today?
I am wonderful, Cory, and thank you for having me on your podcast. This is my first time ever, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, well, that is awesome. I'm glad you was able to be a part, and I'm glad that your first podcast was with us.
Faith Hustle Media.
Faith Hustle Media Group. Yeah, we handle the video side, but we call it What's Your Hustle podcast, and we talk about entrepreneurship and what it takes to be a business owner. And we like to hear your story. So tell us, Ronalda, what made you want to become an entrepreneur? Why not work a regular 9-to-5 job?
Well, good question. Entrepreneurship is in my family. My dad has always had a business. He owned Mitchell's Pool Room. But I was young, I was little, That was his way of making money. It didn't seem like a business because it wasn't a company or a corporation. But my dad owned a business. His sister owned a business. I worked for the only black pharmacist in South Bend, Love James Perry. He ran a business. And I worked for Mr. Perry ever since I was 11. So I've been around minority businesses all of my life. And when I worked for the city of South Bend, Joe Kernan was the mayor at that time, extended an invitation for me to come to Indianapolis. And I started out as a human resources director. But he had enough respect for me and knew that he could challenge me in a different position. And that position was to become the deputy commissioner for minority and women's business development for the state of Indiana. In that particular role, my function was to certify businesses and to administer the state of Indiana's supplier diversity program. I had the opportunity of working for the state of Indiana for 4 years. And I left there and I went to Duke Realty and I built a supplier diversity program from the ground up. It was a national program in 23 states. We had a minority and a small business program, and I ran both of them across the country. And so, in seeing the success of a lot of the minority businesses that I came in contact with as I traveled not only to our projects, but outreach and networking events around the country, I'm thinking, gosh, I can do this. So when I left Duke, I decided I'm going to start my business. Left in February, started my business in June of 2018. You've heard this before. I didn't get my first contract until 2020. But when I did, it was with the Indiana Toll Road. And from the Indiana Toll Road, I got a couple other small contracts. I even got a small contract with the city of South Bend. Unfortunately, in 2022, 2 years later, I'm approaching my first contract over 6 figures. So my journey has been 2.5 years in the making, but I'm getting there. I'm not a minority business that's looking to become rich or a millionaire. I would welcome that. But right now, it's just me. And I'm not going to take on more work than I can do because I want to be able to deliver what I promise with regards to my service. So becoming an entrepreneur, it's kind of like a job. I work from home and I live and breathe it every day, and I love it.
Well, congratulations on landing your first 6-figure contract. I know that's got to feel fantastic.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I'm so proud. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I think it's important that we, be happy for each other and celebrate each other's successes, when it comes, especially within our culture. Sometimes it's like we had the crab in the bucket mentality.
Yes.
One climbs up and we try to pull them back down, but we got to learn to love each other and help one another. And, and that's the whole purpose of the podcast and having people such as yourself come on so that, we can share that knowledge and those wisdom and those gems so can help level up each other.
Absolutely.
There's no reason everybody should be able to live the life they want. We don't have to live in poverty and Section 8 and food stamps and welfare. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with those things, but those things was created to be temporary assistance and not
stepping stone to where you're trying to get to. In your absolutely correct. It's like each one teach one. Everyone needs to be working together to help one another. The crab in the bucket mentality is not a win-win for anybody. Why would I tear you down? You said earlier on building our relationship. Yes, we met at the Notre Dame certification program. I think that was in 19. Then in 20, we met at the second supplier diversity workshop where you came in and recorded me. And 20, maybe it was 2021. In 21, though, we had you, I reached out to you to come and be our videographer for an event we were hosting. And as a result of that, we're going to be looking to work with you again on our next event. So over time, as you build relationships, that's important for certified minority businesses. Think of it like this, and I'm sure you hear it all the time. People like to work with people that look like, talk like, and they know. Well, you and I don't look like most of the people that we're trying to work with. We may not even talk like they talk, you know? But it's a matter of building that relationship, regardless of how you talk and regardless of who it is within that company. You're just trying to get a foot in the door. You want to be able to show yourself that you're a viable business, you can do the job, and you can deliver your services on time.
That is correct. Yeah, definitely. Man, and it's funny. It's like you say that's a long time in the making. And I remember when I reached out and you to respond to my email, but we had connected, like we talked it outside of the event, and we connected really, really well. And I was like, man, why doesn't he respond back to my email? And I was like, I don't know. But when I found out you was coming again, I was very intentional then. At that point, I reached out to Professor Morris, I think, and asked, and then he reached out on my behalf, and then he was like, oh yeah, I remember you. I don't know how that it happened. And then it just took off from there. And so, that's why it's important to build relationships and not to get offended when people don't, get back with you. Sometimes it's not their intention. Sometimes they just busy. I mean, you out chasing 6 figures. I don't blame you for not getting back with me. But I appreciate you getting back with me. So I try to tell people, when you build a relationship, just be very, very intentional with everything that you do, because relationships go a long way versus having money.
That's right.
I value your relationship and your friendship over any dollar any day.
Well, thank you, Cory. I appreciate that. But you said something very important in building those relationships in communication. Communication is the key. For me, I don't know how we were communicating if it was on my phone or via email. I get so many emails a day, it's not funny. So if I get an email on Tuesday and I've gotten 200 emails since Tuesday and I don't delete all of my emails because I keep saying, okay, I'll come back to that one. I'll come back to that one. You know how you can easily skip? Well, I want to take that same example and put it out there for minority businesses. We all know that most minority businesses are notified of contracting opportunities via what? Email.
Yeah, email.
Okay? You got 150 emails in your box.
Right.
And you get that one opportunity, notification, bid doc, and you are your sole company's administrator, and you got to go through all of those to look for it. What's the chances you might overlook it or not respond or what have you? Companies have to set up some kind of system if that's the only way companies send out opportunities now is via email communication. They don't do the snail mail, and who's reading the newspaper? Right. So how you gonna know about opportunity? Right. Okay, so communicating is important. Minority businesses, I was in on a meeting last week and I heard a prime contractor say, we send out the bid notifications, but we don't get responses back from minority business. He said, I have this one minority company told me, I don't even read my emails. Call me. It's like, call you about a bid opportunity? That's not how it works. I say all of that to say, people have to be accountable for their own success. Only you, Cory, can make Faith Hustle Media be successful. Only I can make Minnis Consulting successful. What we put in is what we get out. We have to be intentional on responding to bid requests, performing the job, building the relationships, and creating opportunities for other minorities. As a minority company, that's part of our responsibilities and what we should be doing.
Man, it's funny that you talk about the communication part and emailing. Like I said, a lot of times we don't have the correct systems in place. Like we want to inbox people, a DM or a PM, or however you want to say it, or text. and call, but especially our people, we have to get out of that and we have to email. And like a company has a certain line of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, I called you and asked you to be a part of an opportunity that I had. And I called you and I verbally asked you to be a part. You verbally said yes. But then I emailed you because I know that that's the proper way to do it, to make sure that it's something to follow back on, and that, it's in stone basically.
Right.
It's on paper.
Right.
And that's the proper way to do things. Not DMing, not texting. So, and only reason why I really called you is because I have a personal relationship with you.
Right.
Outside of that, I would have just emailed you.
Right.
But because that's the proper way to do things. We have to. I try to model myself after other like successful businesses like a Starbucks or Chick-fil-A, like how do they do business? When I went to Las Vegas, I noticed that they had a whole system in place from the time you got off the plane to the time you got to the hotel.
Yeah.
Nothing happens by coincidence in Vegas. Everything is predetermined, everything is thought out, everything is strategic and planned. And as business owners, we have to be strategic and we have to plan.
Absolutely, because just because I'm a minority business, I don't think prime contractors should have to just give me a contract just because I'm a Black female. I need to be qualified to do the job. I need to be professional. How am I going to do a business with a major corporation and I'm, halfway there? I don't have a website, or I don't have a logo, or I don't have letterhead, or I don't, check my emails. When you're working with people at a certain level, you can fake it till you make it. You can act like, you're a Starbucks or some major corporation. You might be small, but you have to present yourself in a way. That was another topic that came up, being professional. I think in the certification training, I mentioned that some people have their business and their personal telephone or cell phone all connected. Well, I'm calling Minnis Consultant. Hey, this is Ronalda. I'm not available. Call me back. And that's on my business. People are calling me for but that's the message that they're hearing. When instead they should be hearing, Minnis Consulting, I'm sorry, we're not available at this time. Leave your name and number and we'll get right back with you. I'm telling you, I've called some minority businesses and I'm like, what? And I said to someone, please change your message on your phone. You don't want another business who's looking to do business with you to hear that message that you have on there. So it's important not only that you look professional, dress professional, talk professional, act professional. Your documents need to be professional. I had someone to tell me that they were working on a quote with the minority businesses or with the minority business and it needed to be revised. You know what the guy did? Instead of typing it, drew a line through the air, wrote in the other thing. And I'm like, where's his administrative assistant that he could say, hey, I need you to go in and make this correction, this correction, this correction. People look at that. I mean, that's, if it was a majority business, and they had to make a correction. And between these two, you wrote yours in, he typed his in. This looks more professional than this one. The bid was the same. And certification ain't involved here. Who you think they gonna go with?
The person's got their stuff together.
Yeah, you've got to have your stuff together. And I think and I know this isn't for all minority business. We're not looking for a handout. I just want an opportunity, a chance to prove myself. But if you're not able to deliver, don't take on more than you can handle.
Yeah, I would sure hate to miss out on a 6-figure check because I typed up something wrong and I didn't want to take the time out to redo it, And so, and like you mentioned, you could have had an assistant. That's recently what I did. I wouldn't hire me an assistant. would hire me a content writer. And I put them on payroll. Went through Gusto, under the subcontract model, and not the W-2, but the subcontract. To make sure things is taken care of on the tax end, correctly. Right. I want to do things like an actual business does. Sometimes we start off had that hustler mentality, or fake it till you make it, like you say. But at some point, you gotta say, okay, what I gotta do to hone in to really get to this bag. I wanted to piggyback on what you had said earlier about when you was calling a person, and they had like the call line kind of voice. So check this out, y'all. It's a ton of apps out there that'll help you run your business effectively from your cell phone. That when a business calls, it can say, "Hello, thank you for calling. What's Your Hustle Podcast? How may I help you?" That app is called Reception HQ. It'll be an actual person who will pick up the line and direct the call for your business, and they'll just call yourself on hey, such and such on the phone for you. I mean, they won't say it like that, but I'm just paraphrasing. Right. So that's one app for you, Reception HQ. It's another app. Vonage for business, and then you can have it set up like press 1 for Ronalda Minnis consultant, press 2 if you want to file taxes, press so it's really no excuses. There's a lot of apps, there's a lot of softwares that's available to us to help run our businesses effectively. So I just wanted to get that to the people. But Ronalda, please tell the people like what exactly is a minority business owner? Because I'm gonna be 100 with you. When I hear that, I just thought that hey, if I'm black, that means I'm a minority. But you break it down so eloquently and let you know. Look, it's more to it than just the color of your skin. So let the people know that.
So a minority business must be owned and operated. The owner must have at least 51% interest in that business in order for it to be a minority owned. Okay. And 49% could be owned by a majority if you wanted a partner. 49% could be owned by another minority business. But a true minority business, 51% or more, is owned by a minority male or female or a majority woman-owned business. They have to be an expert in their field. They need to possess control of the business. Okay? When I say control, they want to see that you can stand independent. Faith Hustle is an independent business. Faith Hustle is not with, I'm using this as an example. Your office is not housed inside of WSBT, who is a communication service who would probably have all the equipment that you would need, and you could borrow equipment from them, or you know what I'm saying, what have you, to do what you do on your job. When the state of Indiana see businesses, a majority and a minority business, working side by side, you're going for certification, the first thing they're going to think, this majority business is in control of this minority business over here. They work close, they share equipment, they share things. They may be trying to help you, but the state is looking at it from the perspective, okay, this majority company is working with this minority company. Let's say you get a contract for $1 million and you're working with this company. You win it. But you don't have the full capacity to do the job. You've got to depend on this majority company over here to kind of help you, okay? You got that $1 million contract. You end up spending over 51% of it with this majority company to help you win it. And you're only doing 49% of the job. Well, you as the minority wanted 100%, like it was minority. Then you subcontracted it out to a majority, a non-minority. So that million, it's no longer $1 million in minority spend. It's only the percentage that you actually self-perform that would count towards the minority spend, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, and a lot of businesses do it that way. There was a project I heard about some time ago. Minority company won the bid, but they subbed out 60% of it to a non-minority, non-certified company. They called that in the supplier diversity world like a pass-through, or they're not serving a commercially useful function because they don't have the capacity to do more than 50 or 51% of the job that they were awarded. Why would you award it to them in the first place? How come you didn't award it to the competition who could have provided all of the services? So what that tells me, those two companies are working together, backdooring. Whereas one majority company, non-certified, is working with a certified majority company who gets awarded the contract but can't perform all of the work and sub it out to a non-person. Those things happen, and that is bad business because it's like stealing opportunities from minority. Plus, they're not saying performing a commercially useful function. You know, a commercially useful function is something that the federal government says you need to be able to do the job and have the capacity and all of that. But as you know, in today's world, a lot of underlining things go on all the time, and especially in contracting, what we see every day, it happens in contracts all the time.
Ronalda, I know that you are a busy woman, and we appreciate you coming again, you know, but I would like for you to like lead the people with something like for those who are struggling within their business and they want to take it to the next level. What would you tell them that they have to do in order to go up to the next level, to excel and to push past?
Well, you have to have a plan. You have to identify where are you right now today in your business, and where do you want to be 2 to 3 to 5 years from now. I got asked this question by my mentor a couple of weeks ago, and I just bluntly told him, look, I'm only trying to be in business 5 years. I'm not trying to be in business forever. I'm already 2 years into my 5. Got a plan, got some projections of what I would like to make over the next 2 or 3 years. Try to grow my business. I too have hired a content writer, looking to hire an administrative assistant. As I move on to this cook project, I will probably need to hire a couple of other individuals to work with me, and that will be great. But my hopes is that one of the individuals that I hire will want to buy my company, whatever the value is of it, at the time when I get ready to retire, and they'll have a foundation and they can take it and go from there. But I would say to any minority business who's just getting started, be patient. You know, we talked about how to get your business established. That is the most important thing that a minority business can do, is get certified. Stop using the excuse, well, I'm minority. They can see I'm minority. Yes, I understand you're African American and you're Black. We all know that. But when it comes to competing for contracts, you want to be on the same level playing field as the rest of the competitors. That's these corporations. I don't care how big they are. They are going through the exact same process that minority businesses go through to set their companies up. Only thing is, sometimes they're a little bit smarter. We start our company here in Indiana because we have to, because we want certification. A lot of them, for some reason, set them up in other states. I've learned since then, tax purposes. See, we're not privy to that. We got to get there. But establish a legitimate business. That requires you registering with the Secretary of State, getting your EIN, setting up your bank account. The other thing is getting certified. Yes, we know you're a minority, but getting certified opens you up to more contracting opportunities. If you're not trying to do business with the government, be it city, state, or federal, maybe your company don't want to be certified. You know, if you're not looking to do business with them, because those are the three major entities that have supplier diversity programs. Now, there are companies and universities and, that have programs as well. But if you don't know who those individuals are in your community, how do you know to pursue them for opportunities? One of the major problems with minorities learning about contracting opportunities from the event we held in October, we got that in a survey result. How do we know when there's a bid opportunity? We don't even know when there's a bid opportunity. So communication is important. Establish your business. If you don't know how to run your business, seek help. There's a lot of resources in the community of South Bend that can help other businesses. You've got the Small Business Administration offices that's there. You've got the Elkhart Regional Partnership that helps businesses. You have the University of Notre Dame Entrepreneurship class that help businesses. The City of South Bend has programs. I'm currently on the Latin American Chamber of Commerce there in South Bend. They offer different classes and training for minority business. There's just a wealth of information out there. People have to seek that out in order to help them to grow their business. And they need to be sincere about it.
Well, thank you, Ronalda, for sharing that powerful information and letting the people know how they can get certified and take their business to the next level and putting the proper systems in place and so forth. Before we get out of here, please let the people know where they can contact you if they personally want to work with you on becoming certified minority business owner, or even event planning, or even booking you for a teaching session.
Well, you can reach me at Ronalda@MinnisConsults.com. And my phone number is area code 317-938-7900. And I work from about 8 to 8, Monday through Friday.
Well, look, everybody, y'all heard it from Miss Minnis, from Ronalda. She gave y'all her number. She gave you her contact information where you can email her at, so it's no excuses. She even named other resources additionally for people that's in South Bend on how you all can reach out and get more help. So, and plus you obviously have the podcast, But anyway, y'all take that information and go boss up.